Hello and welcome to my analysis for the Kentucky Oaks on Friday. Now, I don't think this is the greatest race for me. When you're trying to be successful as a bettor and try to make money, you don't always play every race, even if it's a big race. Not every race will fit your eye. The Kentucky Oaks could fit other people's eyes, but for me, I feel like there are so many contenders in this race that it's hard to really have confidence in who I'm picking. Nevertheless, I'm still gonna go over my thoughts for each horse. Let's get started with Tapit Janelli. Now, Tapit Janelli has a great pedigree. The dad, Take Charge Tressa, is a full sister to Omaha Beach, half sister to Take Charge Brandy. The filly's still developing. She lost the Fantasy Stakes by 7 1/4 lengths. She lost the Honeybee Stakes by 3.5 lengths, but it was a weak race. And I think she could be good down the road, but she's not for me in this race. Number 2 is Jin Jin. Now, I also think she's overmatched in this race. She lost the Gazelle Stakes by 9.5 lengths, and she also was third in the Busher Stakes by 4 3/4 of a length. And I just think if you're going to take someone from the Gazelle, it might as well be Where's My Ring, who won the race by an impressive margin, 4 1/4 lengths. Jin Jin was nowhere near Where's My Ring, and she's not for me in this race. Where's My Ring, I just mentioned, she just won the Gazelle Stakes at Aqueduct to break her maiden by 4 1/4 lengths. And I like how she did it, even though she had a good trip. She used her speed to be a close-up stalker, and she took over on the turn, and she just opened up on them in the stretch. She won at the 9 furlong distance, so the distance of this race should be no problem. I just wonder who she was beating in that race, whether Regulatory Risk or Jin Jin are any good. I don't think Jin Jin is that great. Regulatory Risk, I don't think she's that great either. But Where's My Ring could certainly hit the board in this spot. Number 4 is Regulatory Risk. I just mentioned she lost the Gazelle Stakes by 4 1/4 lengths to Where's My Ring, and I just said if you're going to take one filly out of the Gazelle, it might as well just be Where's My Ring, because even though Where's My Ring won that race impressively, she's not going to be one of the favorites in this race. So you're getting a deal on Where's My Ring, so you don't need to look for the horses that lost in that race. Number 5, Torpedo Anna. This is an interesting filly because she broke her maiden by 8.5 lengths. She won an optional claim at Churchill by 9 lengths before somewhat of a flat effort in the Goldenrod. She lost by 5 1/4 lengths to Intricate, and then she went on the shelf after that. But she came back with a 4 length win in the Fantasy Stakes. I do wonder how far she wants to go. Does she want to go 9 furlongs? But if you watch the Fantasy Stakes, she was ridden so confidently. It's hard to imagine that she wouldn't handle 9 furlongs after watching that race. Brian Hernandez Jr. always knew he was going to win the race from the start of the stretch run, and she just opened up on them by 4 lengths. West Omaha was second, Tapit Janelli was third. These are tougher horses, obviously. She has to deal with Leslie's Rose and also Tarifa. She probably has another move forward in her. It's her second start off the bench, and most horses improve in their second or third start off the layoff. She's a major contender in this race. I just don't know for sure how much she's going to improve. If she makes a logical move forward in her second start off the bench, then she'll be right there. Number 6 is Lemon Muffin. I just think she's overmatched as well. She won the Honeybee by 3.5 lengths, but then she was nowhere in the Fantasy. She was 7th in that race, and I just think she was facing better horses, better fillies in the Fantasy Stakes and couldn't handle it. And now she's taking on the Kentucky Oaks, so I think that she's going to be overmatched, and she's not for me. Number 7 is Feudal's Magic. She's probably better than that Gulfstream Park Oaks says. She lost by 44 lengths. She was 8th in that race after contesting the pace. And I don't know, it's too bad to believe. I mean, she lost by that many lengths. The jockey wasn't even trying at the end, probably. I don't know what went wrong in that race, but before that, she won the Devoted Deal, and she was second in the Forward Gal. I don't know if she wants to go 9 furlongs either, though. I don't like her in this spot, but I do think down the road she will rebound and probably prove that she is a good filly, at least maybe at the mile distance. Number 8 is Tarifa, and she just won the Fairgrounds Oaks by 3/4 of a length over Our Pretty Woman. Even though it was a small margin, I like the way she did it. She had to put the pressure on an uncontested leader, and she put the pressure on Our Pretty Woman early, and she had to fight her in the stretch and eventually gained the advantage late in the race, and she won by 3/4 of a length. Our Pretty Woman, I think, is a good filly, and if she gets into this race, I think she's going to contend. And Tarifa posted a 95 bar speed figure for that win, which I believe is the highest in the field. Although it's not a scary figure. I mean, you don't think of 95 as a scary figure for a favorite in a big stakes race, but still, it is the highest in the field. And she's got tactical speed. She can handle the slop. She won the Rachel Alexandra in the slop. And so if it rains, it'll be to her benefit as well as a daughter of Bernardini. She has a good post position where she'll be able to just fall into a stalking position again, maybe third or fourth. And if I had to rank the fillies in this race, she would either be first or second. Number 9 is Everland. It might seem kind of unfair to say she has no chance because she doesn't have any dirt starts. She only has synthetic starts and a one turf start as well. But I'm just going to cross her off. She did win the Bourbonnais Stakes at Turfway Park. I just don't think she's going to cross over onto dirt and beat the best 3-year-old fillies on dirt. Number 10 is Into Champagne. Here's another one where I don't know if she wants to go 9 furlongs. She was contesting the pace at the Gulfstream Park Oaks before she faded to third, and she lost by 6 3/4 of a length. Before that, she was second in the Devona Dale to Fiona's Magic by only half a length. I don't know if she wants to go 9 furlongs. I think she'll be a pace presence, but she's a daughter of Into Mischief out of a Spicetown mare. She's not for me. We'll move on. Number 11, Ways and Means. I watched the trip she had in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. She was kind of bounced around in the beginning parts, and she had to go wide. She made an early move towards the lead on the far side, and then she took the lead, and it almost looked like she was going to win, but Power Squeeze ran her down in the stretch run to win by a length. And Ways and Means was making her first start off a long layoff, so it could be forgiven. But I just wonder if she wants to go 9 furlongs. She's a daughter of Practical Joke, and it kind of bothers me that she didn't finish the race off. Even though she had a bad trip, even though she was wide, even though she made an early move, it kind of bothered me that Ways and Means didn't put the race away. When Gulfstream Park holds a mile and 1/16 races on dirt, they use a short stretch, and that should have favored Ways and Means to hold on against a closing Power Squeeze. But Power Squeeze ran her down anyway, so I generally don't trust Practical Joke progeny to go 9 furlongs or 10 furlongs until I see them do it. I just don't trust her. Number 12 is Power Squeeze. Now, if you're looking for a long shot, maybe this is the one. She just won the Gulfstream Park Oaks by a length after mowing down Ways and Means, just like I said. And she also won the Suncoast Stakes at Tampa Bay Downs. And in fact, she comes into this race with a 4-race win streak. So what's wrong with her? Nothing really. She has tactical speed even. She's only like about a length or two off the lead in her starts. The fact that she won the Gulfstream Park Oaks with a short stretch is impressive. She had to mow down Ways and Means, who had the advantage because it was a short stretch, and she managed to get the job done. And even win by a length. It wasn't even a neck or a head, it was a length. So she is a major contender in this race as well, and she's also 12-1 on the morning line. I can't find anything wrong with her except that her lone start on wet dirt last year wasn't that impressive. Although she was an inexperienced maiden back then, maybe you could forgive that. I don't know how wet it'll be on Friday. She is a major contender in this race, and like I said, there are a number of fillies who could win this race. Number 13 is Just FYI, and she's a Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies champion. She came back a few weeks ago at Keeneland, ran second in the Ashland Stakes by 3 lengths to Leslie's Rose. However, Just FYI had a worse trip than Leslie's Rose. He was wide in that race, and she also didn't have the fitness coming into that race. She didn't have that many works coming into that race because of other issues, and now she's probably fit for this race. She's been training terrific in the mornings if you listen to the DRF workout reports. I think she's going to improve in this race. She has a win over the Slop as well in the Frizette last year. I don't think there's anything wrong with her other than you're probably getting a lower price than you should off that runner-up finish in the Ashland, because if she didn't win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, she'd probably be a little higher than 9-2. But because she's the Breeders' Cup champion, people will recognize her, and people will still want to bet her even though she lost her comeback race. But again, she probably wasn't fit in the Ashland Stakes, and she's now making her second start off the layoff. And just like I said earlier, horses that make their second or third start off the layoff tend to improve because they're more fit than they were when they made the first start. If she stays at 9-2, that would be acceptable. She's one of the major contenders in this race, and as I said, there's so many fillies that could win this race. She's just another one of them. post 13 is somewhat of a concern, but she can probably work it out. Number 14 is Leslie's Rose. And like I said, she just won the Ashland Stakes by 3 lengths, but she had a great trip in that race. Before that, in the Devona Dale, she lost that race. She was third. But if you watch that race, she didn't want to move to the inside if you watch that closely. And I think that's what bothered her. And then in the Ashland, she had an opening, and she just went through it easily and opened up by 3 lengths. But again, How Fit was just FYI in second. And Impel was a disappointment in that race. She was third after setting slow fractions. Leslie's Rose is a good filly. Her Beyer speed figure 95 ties Tarifa. I just wonder if she's going to work out a trip for post 14. She does have tactical speed. She's a major contender and just another filly that could win this race. There are so many fillies in this race that could win. And Todd Pletcher is no stranger to the Kentucky Oaks. He knows how to win this race. Irene Ortiz will probably find a way to work out a trip, but still, post 14 is a concern. And as I said, just FYI, probably wasn't the most fit filly in the Ashland, so I don't know if there's really a 3 length difference between them. If Our Pretty Woman comes in as an also eligible, you have to take her seriously. She set the pace in the Fairgrounds Oaks and only lost by 3/4 of a length to Tarifa. It was only her third start of her career, and she could move forward in this spot if she clears the field and takes the lead. Maybe she can take them all the way. Number 16, Candide. I feel like Candide has not improved since last year. She still does not switch leads in the stretch. She's not for me. Which filly will be my top choice? Well, I'm just going to say Power Squeeze is my top choice. Just because there's nothing wrong with her form, and she's 12-1 on the morning line, and she might stay at 12-1. She might be double digits when post time comes. At 12-1, I'll probably make her my top choice. But as I said, there are so many fillies that could win this race. I'll make just FYI my second choice. She probably wasn't fit coming into the Ashland. Now she looks ready to roll. I don't know if she can work out a trip from post 13, but we'll see what happens. Number 8, Tarifa is my third choice. She's 7-2 on the morning line, and she's the most reliable one in terms of form. She comes into this race with 3 wins in a row, and they were at Fairgrounds, which is typically a place where they have good 3-year-old fillies in the spring. If it's a sloppy track, you could even move her up. And my fourth choice is Torpedo Anna. She needs to move forward, but she probably will. If you're looking for value, or if you're looking for a long shot, a realistic long shot that could win this race, then Power Squeeze has the shot to win or finish second. Just by watching Power Squeeze, it just looks like she wants the 9 furlongs. And she hasn't raced at 9 furlongs yet, but just by watching her run, it just seems like the 9 furlongs would benefit her. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Kentucky Oaks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.